Come on, please. Yes!
You heard it up first.
Does this actually say Melbourne? And then you made yourself
sold the
favourites.
bag.
I've never been more happy about being right about something.
I make plenty of miscounts. There's some sort of hatred towards the man.
666, you know that, man. Never
Real
go the early
man.
crow.
The real
Darts down
darts,
under, please.
surely.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is episode number 65 of the 9 Dart Podcast, your one-stop shop for talking tungsten. On today's episode, Wessel Nijman makes more history again as he wins the inaugural Slovak Darts Open. That now opens up the question, should he be in the Premier League in 2027? Is he in the conversation? Is he a contender? We'll talk about that later. And we go to one of the most famous arenas in all of sport, Madison Square Gardens, for the US Darts Masters this week. And the ADA's in Melbourne as well. Joining me once again, Josh Tahini. Hello, Josh. I'm very good, and Shane's come back after a good performance
Thanks
next
for having
week.
me back.
A great debut.
Yes, and hopefully you'll be hearing us all fine and dandy as well.
Issues, but we're sorry, this will be good. We've fixed it up.
Yes, and we're all very keen. If anything, we might risk overcompensating. There might be a few more pops, or it might be a little bit louder than usual. But that's okay. We're trying our very best here. This is the 65th edition of the 9 Dart Podcast. We've been doing this for, a year and a half now, just about. Josh.
Crazy.
Fantastic stuff.
No
sponsor yet. Come on. But no, we're very excited to be here and talk about the week that was. The Slovak Darts Open on the European Tour was quite a good event, I must say, in Bratislava.
I enjoyed it. What did you think of it? I personally enjoyed the quality. We'll get to some people who really stood out, but overall.
Yeah, I think it was a good debut event there. Like they said, the crowd was pretty respectful, the players. No whistling, so that's positive.
Yeah, even when
And,
the Slovakian players were there there really wasn't anything too ridiculous. So it was a good atmosphere, and I mean we hadn't even done like a World Series event or anything really in Slovakia. They just put an event on, and this is where darts is now. We could just kind of put an event on somewhere that has people, and people will be there. So
Who doesn't love the darts? We all love the darts.
Absolutely. So it was a very good first edition. For the Darts Archive last week, Josh put in a Paul Lim related content, so it had to be done.
Yes.
How did it turn out last week, Josh? For those who did their homework.
Yes, those who did your homework were done, first of all. So it was Netherlands versus Singapore 2021, not first play.
Well done.
MUG won convincingly in the first game, and then Dirk and Harry Lim had a very good game, tense game in that second game, but Dirk was too strong. They won 2-0 in what was a great contest, for sure. We'll get to yours later on.
Yes, we will. So plenty of crazy moments from the week, and just realizing we were just we were trying so hard just to. I'm pressing channel, not volume. Oh no, it's okay. We're turning up the. We're now. I think last week we were a bit closer to the TV. Now I feel like we're further back. Anyway, we're just trying to get an episode out. It took us a while to get everything set up and ready to go here. But on the Slovak Darts Open, we had a crucial fish from Johnny Clayton. With his opponent was on 32 as well. Wessel Nijman won a match with a 161 outshot against Ross Smith.
Remarkable.
Because Wessel Nijman's got a shot to win it and reach the final.
Surprised that the ball didn't jump out of the play after the play there.
No,
There'll be
I
few
don't think it was too bad this week. Oh boy.
So we also had history making 11 maximums at Modus, if you don't mind. It was incredible last night between Robbie Martin and Big Boris, which was very, very good. Yeah, some great stuff.
11 maximums in what, a best of 7 leg match.
So it was 9 the record, and now it's 11. So making more history. Just leg after leg, it was, and went all the way, which was also helpful.
Which also helped.
Yes, it does.
What was the end result of the match? Do you know?
Robbie Martin won 4-3.
There we go. So he's got
High
that
averages,
one.
very high average.
Yes. So we'll speak more about the Slovak Darts Open now. Great tournament, great atmosphere, and a great winner as well in Wessel Nijman. What a year he is having.
Just can't stop winning.
Yeah, it's kind of gone past guys like Bunting and Aspinall last year, who had like really good years on the European Tour, picking up a couple titles and Pro Tour titles as well. He's like flown past half of them, and we're not even before the match play. And he's into the world's top 16. And he's winning so much despite having not done anything on the TV stage just yet. But that feels like it's about to happen.
Oh, it's never going to happen sometime soon. Well, the match play is a big one coming up, and look at him there. But I think it's 7 play championship events now. He won Slovak Darts Open. He also won some sort of TV event recently, I think, as well. I want to say.
Another different European tour. You can double check that.
European tour. But mate, he's just gone from strength to strength, really, hasn't he?
Yeah, just been in such good form, carrying on week to week. The doubles going in, grouping.
That's
trebles.
really what I took away, especially from watching him beat my man Bunting 6-1. It was just like he was every time he stepped up to the Oki and he wanted, especially like double 18. It was like it was first start almost every time, and you need to beat Wessel Nijman at the moment. I think your scoring needs to be almost as good as it can be, as good as you're able to, because without that, Wessel Nijman is just going to be so clutch on the finishing, or you're just going to have to assume he is, that you're just going to have to outscore him to not give him the chance to double, because if you give him a chance to double, he's probably going to take it.
We see in the final here, like Rob Cross averaging 103, and he got battered.
Yeah.
Scores on the screen now.
So 103, you win most matches, and didn't even get close.
So, at the moment, there are a few players he's acclimatized certainly to a stage, has seen very well. He was someone who always threatened to do things. It was a couple of years ago, wasn't he, when it was Bunting and Rock and him and somebody else in a Grand Slam of darts group, and he didn't win a match despite averaging over 100. Who was that other player in that group? I can't remember. It might come to me at some point. It was an extraordinary few days of darts there in Wolverhampton in 24, I think it was. So he's always been one who would put in those great performances and then wouldn't win.
Yes.
Now he's putting in these great performances and he's getting over the line. And he's getting over the line against top 16 players. We should really mention Rob Cross as well. What a couple of few events. Things are really starting to turn up for Rob Cross. And a little while ago, we thought, he's probably not going to make the match play. Now he's basically a lock. I actually put it down in a slide much further in here somewhere in the latest news. That's the Women's World Match Play. We'll get to that.
Yeah, good win
there it
against,
is. Here it is.
Gian Van Veen.
So that's how the World Match Play. I'll get to that in the end when we get there. But the point is, Rob Cross on that graphic is like 6th in the Pro Tour race for the World Match Play, so he is comfortably safe because he's just had a very good recent few weeks as well, and he's throwing really well as well. And he was another one where you had to really outscore him or else he was just going to finish on doubles as well. It was the classic Rob Cross, hit a big number, step back, tap, look, think, throw, first start.
He sticks it all the time.
No, he's done that, yeah. No,
It's a good form.
Yeah, exactly. So Ross Smith obviously pushed Nijman all the way to that last leg, but that 161 we saw earlier finished it up. Mike Decker as well got to a Euro Tour quarterfinal. We also had an interesting other semi-finalist, which we'll get to in the positive surprise. But Wessel Nijman's having quite the extraordinary year. So extraordinary, in fact, that if we look at the World Match Play odds, this is with the title sponsors Betfred. He's third favourite, 9-1. That's $10 for those of us who don't use the old style. So he's ahead of guys like Gowan Price, who's 10-1, Van Veen is 12-1, the great mighty Michael Van Gowen's 14-1. Not sure how Kevin Dirks is somehow 25-1.
Johnny Clayton,
And
a bit
he's-
low.
Yeah, same as Johnny Clayton, and shorter than Rock, Anderson. Not even on that graphic as players like Bunting, Wade, and Noppert. So they're out at like 40 and 50-1. But the point, I put this in because Nijman is third favourite for the World Match Play, but he's never got past the last 16 of any TV event. He hasn't got past the second round at Blackpool. So there is now the expectation on him. He's the world number 14 that he is going to make runs at this tournament, and assuming that 14 seeding stands, he'll play Van Veen if they both win in the first round in a second round match, which would be absolutely enticing. So do we need to start thinking about Wessel Nijman as a potential Premier League player for as soon as next year?
Well, like you just said, he has to prove it in the majors. He's got to get past the last 16 stage.
This brings a very similar conversation to the Josh Rock thing.
Yes,
A year too early. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Well, we talked about Josh Rock last year after he won the World Cup.
Yes, and had a good, decent back. It was more the start of the year which he performed really well. The back end was decent, but it was more like the first half. And then
Winning the World Cup, making a semi-final at the match play. And I mean, he had a very good World Championship until he ran into Justin Hood's extraordinary doubling performance. But exactly. So that pretty much got him there. I do feel like I think he should be in the conversation at the moment. He's playing that well.
The thing is, who comes out for Wessel Nijman?
Yeah, that's the thing. And
if you go as early as next year, then who are the candidates?
well, part of the other thing is we don't know if they're gonna. There's been so much talk about changing the Premier League format that we may have more spots available.
Up to 10, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the PDC do like to have a new lineup every year, I think.
They do want to. Yeah, they want to.
Elite, max 2, yeah?
Well, I said max 3.
Max 3, sorry.
Usually 2, maybe 3.
But normally minimum 1 as well, isn't it? At least 1.
You would think there would be at least 1, unless the 8 we had just have an extraordinary back half of the year, and there's like, well, there's no other contenders. But again, there will be changes if we get an expansion to the format anyway.
Well, Matt Porter's hinted at some sort of change.
A lot of talk has been sort of round robin for the first half, and then back to what we've been doing the last several years for the second half, which would work. Maybe there's a challenge element as well, which would be great for players like Nijman to come in. Going back to something I said either last week or 2 weeks ago, and we know now, courtesy of, and I have to throw this in here, Phil Bars of Online Darts. Nijman was not even asked whether or not he'd come to Australia or New Zealand for the World Series events. So he was picked ahead. So Ross Smith was given that opportunity before. It was great to see Ross Smith there. He plays very well, and he's a fantastic darts player, of course. But I think there was a bit of a missed opportunity, at least not to ask Nijman. Maybe he would have said, no, I'd like to be on holiday during August and not come down to Australia or New Zealand. But I think that would have been a great opportunity to, much like Josh Rock got last year and even Stephen Bunting the year before, really test them in a World Series of Darts finals conditions, which is basically an extended Premier League night, just with the locals sprouted in as well.
You're saying you would have much rather had Nijman in first than Smith?
I would have asked the question. I would have asked him before I would have asked almost any other player who wasn't in the Premier League this year apart from James Wade.
Same for you? Shane?
Probably based on form, and like as we see, Nijman just beat Ross Smith. So
They're sort of riding this wave of form at the moment. So
Yeah.
they're just all sort of
I mean, he's won the most titles this year, like
Yeah.
on the floor. So he's the informed player of the year.
Yeah.
You want to see him down under.
Yeah, exactly. we want to get the best quality possible, and I think he would have given a bit of an X factor that Luke Littler's absence wouldn't have had as someone on the younger side as well. So that would have made things interesting.
He's gone so quickly to form. Like he just rose out of nowhere, kind of.
A little bit. Well, yes and no. There's been a sort of explosion this year. That it was always there.
It was great, but now
It's great.
sort of,
Yeah.
So I wonder if they don't want to put too much onto him, too much pressure, too many events. Ross Smith more experienced. I don't know.
That is true. Ross Smith will certainly have that sort of experience, but Nijman is if he's in the Premier League conversation, which I think he kind of has to be, then the World Series is the perfect environment to put him in. And look, he might play
solid test.
at a World Series finals, and he'll be in all the majors anyway. So
We could win the Masters next year. Like start next year and win the Masters.
yeah.
Cement his
It's not
spot.
a breach at all.
Yep. So, I mean, a big tournament, it wouldn't be completely a surprise. Now, getting past the Lokes would be, I guess, a little bit, or at least getting past both of them, which is kind of what you have to do at the moment. But for Nijman, I think the match play is obviously is on everyone's mind as the big thing at the moment. And if he puts in a strong showing there, so like, I probably wouldn't have him if we're just going to stick to 8 because that's what we've had the last few years, knowing that we may get more. He's probably not in the 8 right now, but he may very well be, even with just like, all he needs like one run on the TV. Stephen Bunting got to a quarterfinal of the World Match Play last year. He got in, but I've always thought that if you're currently in the Premier League, you have to do less to keep your spot than someone trying to knock you out.
If you want to go, you have to like,
You've got to do more. You've got to make finals. You've got to win
the
things. And sometimes winning things doesn't even get you in the Premier League.
What if
See
he
Mike Decker.
makes a world final? Like, does that
Well,
put him-
world final.
like Gian Van Veen? That probably
Yeah,
secured
yeah.
Van Veen.
No, world final. Look, it almost certainly does. Now, Kirk Shepard did in 2008, but he's the biggest one-shot wonder in the history of darts. So he wasn't in the Premier League in the ensuing year. But I love the fact that you guys have no idea what I'm referencing there, do you?
all right.
How did he go this year in the Worlds? I can't remember.
Oh,
Wessel
Nijman.
What's his best ever finish in the Worlds? I wonder.
It's again, it's not very far. It wouldn't be past the last 16 even
That's
that.
like the ultimate test.
yeah.
Right before the Premier League
So
starts.
so that'll be that's the big one because that's the one where it's the biggest test and it's the most recent form indicator that we have.
Yeah, that's right.
So you kind of do have to play with that, especially if you're not in the Premier League. That's what really left Decker out was he didn't win a game of that World Championship after winning the World Grand Prix.
Yeah.
So
To
that
Munya.
really cost him a Premier League
Ran
spot.
into
Then
David Munya.
yeah, and then lost to Munya this year. So
Round 2 lost to Gabriel Clemens 3-0.
okay, so he won one game and then he got beat by
Pretty big
Clemens.
loss.
So that was in that Luke Humphrey section.
I think if you put him in the Premier League now, like who would you say he starts favourite against? Like
Who would he start favourite against?
maybe Bunting.
Well, he's beaten Bunting on the weekends.
So if you keep rocking, then probably favourite against Rock. At the
Probably,
moment.
yeah.
So you got to see how he goes with the mix in the Premier League. So if he proves himself to beat those top 8 players in the world,
Yeah.
then I think
And
he deserves to be in there.
that's why I think he should have been at, or at least should have been asked about coming to the World Series, because that's a Premier League-esque
Yeah,
sort of
that's true.
thing.
Top environment.
Yeah, and
Is
so
that an indicator that they're not leaning towards him early?
well, not right now, probably.
It's just too early to tell.
Yeah, so yeah, it probably is. They might not be really thinking
Because
about
like you
it.
said with Josh Rock, they set him up through the World Series, didn't they?
Yeah, it's hard to know what Matt Porter or indeed any of these sports administrators are thinking at times. Gee whiz. So I'm not sure whether they think of the World Series as, because they don't really do it that often, or at least as often as I would like. Have the World Series is sort of mostly Premier League guys, for the most part. I'm not sure they probably use it enough as a potential springboard for these guys on the outer. And look, Nijman, he also doesn't. The other thing with Nijman is he doesn't have the same name recognition of anyone else, because we haven't seen him that much on television. But all he needs to make is like a couple of semi-finals. Maybe prove yourself with a very good win against a Bunting or a Van Gerwen or a Rock or someone who was in this Premier League, Price, and even guys on the outer, guys like Aspinall or Noppert. And that firmly puts you into that 8. So I think he's definitely got to be in the conversation for mine, because he's had such an extraordinary start of the year, and I think he would acclimatise well to the Premier League if he was in it. So, but he needs a run on television. That's what he needs, because he's like, his best TV performance is like technically a quarterfinal of the World Youth Championship, which doesn't count because that event is only televised in the final. So,
Because there were a lot of seeds out of the Players' Championship events. Littler,
Yeah.
he hasn't played in any, has he?
no, Littler's not
Yes.
played any. Yeah, there's a lot of
That's the-
0
that's
pounds.
that's the biggest test. Like, if you want to win the Premier League, you got to beat Littler.
All these bigger names.
Yeah.
Sort of 8 in the world.
I mean, he's still getting some of that at times, but yeah, we haven't seen.
Not at a huge event.
Yeah, we haven't seen the huge event. That's the one that's waiting, and you feel like he only almost needs one. If he gets to like a semi-final of the World Championship, he gets to a final at a match play, final at a Grand Prix or the Slam. That might be just on that one thing. Might be enough to get him in, especially if there's an expanded field and they can be a little bit more risky with who they keep or not. But yes, I will still say, going back to your point, Josh, 3 changes max. So certainly, even if it's 8 and even if it's more, they might not do anymore. So
That's what we saw with Josh Rock. Like, even though he had a good year, like the Premier League format, it just crushes you. Like, just the standard, the expectation.
and yeah, that's going to be the little. That's going to be the only little worry. But Nijman's winning more titles than Rock was last year.
Yes. It's giving shades
But Rock's done better than on him on television, even at that point.
It could just be
shades
mental.
of Rock, but
Yeah.
better, I think. The sort of progression we're seeing
Yeah.
throughout the year is just
And look, when you're playing a league format, somebody's going to have to be the one that loses more often than everybody else. You can't all be winning. Like, there's got to be someone down the bottom. And the tough thing with the Premier League is all these players are all very good on their days and are capable of beating each other. And it is often the case that there is at least one player who is struggling to win any matches. So I think it's got to be in the conversation, and almost feels like only one deep run on television with everything else he's doing might be enough. Because he'd be different, he'd be interesting, and I think he could easily stack up with the big guys week in, week out.
How about like
as
a
well.
James Wade Nopper situation? If he reaches like lots of semi-finals but doesn't win, lots of quarters, would that be enough?
Well, the difference there was Danny Nopper didn't win a title last year.
That's true.
Wessel Nijman's won heaps.
Yeah.
So that might be a little difference. Even though, again, like when you're on the outside of the Premier League, you just need to do more. It will probably come down to, does he have a deep run on television, and how does he go at the World Championship? There are the 2 things that he needs to make sure he does at the back end of this year, to give him the best possible chance. Because yeah, if he makes a semi-final of the Worlds, what with the prize money, he'll be probably closing in on that top 4 anyway. So he'll probably be there in that rate. So
Do we give Josh Rock another chance, depending on this year, or?
probably look at that later. We have to go to move on.
yeah, we can't spend too long on this.
We'll park that for later. Tom Sykes, wow, what a debut on the Euro Tour he had. I have watched this guy progress for so long. Modus, ADC, this progression.
I
I've
don't think
finally
that
seen it
there might not be many
on the
more
Euro Tour.
people who have watched more Tom Sykes starts than you, Josh, to be completely honest.
That's me, don't worry. But I
Don't think many people knew who he was going to this tournament. Not many people knew who he was going to
God,
this
no.
tournament.
No, but I'm so proud of him. So here's his run here. Nico Springer, Martin Schindler, Menzies, what a minute, and then obviously lost Rob Cross, who played an incredible
It must
game.
be a while before someone's got to Euro Tour semi-final who doesn't even have their own Wikipedia page. It's merely a draft at the moment, I think, for a Tom Sykes darts player.
Incredible.
Look at that average in the first round. That's incredible.
93, 94, 94, 89, just got over the line there, and then 90. But again, that first game was incredible. Like, such good quality opponents as well. Not some Mickey Mouse names.
No, Nico Springer, a winner from European Tour last year and an up-and-comer, though he hasn't had as strong of a start of this year. Schindler and Menzies, World Cup stars. Watermina, major finalist. And then only losing to Rob Cross, the former world champion and world match play champion. So, yeah.
Proud of him, actually.
Yeah, so it was an extremely good weekend.
Was it beat a Menzies to just beat Gerwin Price?
Exactly right.
Just battered Gerwin Price, and then he kicks Menzies out. So that's
Yeah, so
Big
yes. So it was a fantastic weekend for Tom Sykes. He was very much our rightly positive surprise for this week because he had to be because it was just a great run, and hopefully this is the start of many more of these performances because Tom Sykes is a very talented dart player. He is very, very good.
Not some he isn't a household name yet, but I think over time he keeps making these runs. He will
Also had a
begin to-
ton plus checkout to win it against Menzies.
Yeah,
So that
that was
to stop
very
Menzies
good.
coming back.
So he's got an upward trajectory, this guy, I'm telling you. So keep watching it.
Yeah, we'll follow him with bated breath, no doubt. We almost do this every other week. The biggest flops are what is with the Seeds losing on European tours,
Is it
second and third
motivation?
round. Now Bunting's a little bit harsh because he did play the eventual tournament winner in Nijman who was basically unplayable. So we won't pin that too much against Stephen Bunting, though we have Bunting news later in a couple of categories actually. But otherwise, Van Veen keeps losing. He cannot seem to get. I think he might have like one win on the European tour when he's the number one seed.
Did face a good Rob Cross though.
He did.
Last leg decider.
Yeah, so I mean, it might just have been that these they were just guys just running into really good performances. Damon Hetter again, a loser on the European tour at the first match as well. It just
Kevin Doots is in pretty good form too.
yeah.
But
He is. He's had a good
you still
first
expect
half of the year.
you still expect a bit more
He
from
could be a bit of a
Damo.
danger at the match play. You won't want to be drawing him if you're a seed. Yeah, that match play draw is going to be so interesting because there's a risk of it being it's going to be very one-sided. Or if we get the right matchups, hello, this is very exciting. Maybe we could see an upset or plenty more.
Price bombed out.
Yeah, MVG ran into a pretty classy gilding, averaging
Yes.
117 over 5 legs,
That's crazy.
no missing in a double.
Yeah. So
And
I
the
think
thumb
this was probably
thumb was getting pointed a lot.
yes, lots of thumbs up. Yes, from yes, he did for one night when I was there. So it was probably a bit more of guys just running into just really good performances
Ryan
like
Searle against
Gilding and
Aspinall.
Nijman and those. So, but yeah, these guys we do sometimes forget that they don't have a invincibility about them. They can be beaten, and it was.
Does motivation play a factor? Like, they have Premier League for 16, 17 weeks. They've had the World Cup. And just is another tournament for them. Like, does that make
It probably
a
is.
difference?
Well, I would think, if anything, this tournament would be a bit different given it was the first time we're in Slovakia. So this
That's
is really if you wanted to put your name in the history books, this is the one to do it. The first Slovak Darts Open, the first Slovakian event winner. So there should have been a bit of momentum for them there, and motivation, I should say.
Just busy schedule, like, right off the World Cup,
That is true.
off the Premier League, like back to back to back.
But that's not for all of them. That's not Danny Noppert didn't have that. Stephen Bunting didn't have that. Dobie didn't have that. Searle, they didn't have that. Header played,
Well,
Schindler
those
played.
bottom
but we
ranked
have to-
seeds were probably in the mix with the challenges they had.
Yeah.
The Aspinalls and all that.
Yeah, it was
So
very strong from the some of the non-seeded
Gilding, you never know what you can
nations.
get.
Yeah, exactly. So we had some JDC events over the week with Girls Series and Advanced Tour. There isn't a ton to say because Mitchell Laurie just keeps cleaning up on everything he turns up to. And we've talked a bit about Rebecca Allen. So shout out to Macy Gibbons, who won the other Girls Series events, averaging I think 71 in the final, and end up denying Rebecca Allen a double because she won the second event as well. So Macy Gibbons is this week's future star. I only started picking up so many of these JDC players. They're like you read the first thing about them is like first picked up darts in 2023, and now they're averaging on the regular in the 60s and 70s. It's like, why can't we? That is extraordinary.
Too cold.
Yes.
We'll get to you later.
All right. So that shows you just the thing is, I think they're talented. I think they've got a bit more of a
Born in a pub.
maybe.
Or beers.
But well done, Macy Gibbons, for being this week's
Darts at
future
school.
star for winning a JDC Girls event.
Really?
Right. So after the Slovak Darts Open, the World Match Play race is down to just 2 more Pro Tour events, and this is sort of I just highlighted this little block here. You'll see. So there are names further down, players like Reyes and Beaugraves, who I mean, in theory, if they win both your Pro Tour events, rely on other results, they might be able to squeeze in. But it's we're not going to see Beaugraves at the main World Match Play, as fun as that would be. Amazing that. Imagine if she wins both. Right. Imagine if she wins both and she doesn't even get in. Now that would be painful.
Gotta get past Nijman though.
Yeah, that's true.
So at the moment, Damon Heta is in there. I feel like here, so Gurney, Menzies, and Heta are the players I've highlighted as the 3 closest. I'm feeling more confident though that they'll all be at the World Match Play.
I can't really see anyone coming in from that bottom 4.
Yeah, from that next lot of 4 is Chisnor, Hybrex, Bielchecki, and Sedlacek. The problem with these,
Bielchecki making a run. He's been good.
yes, he has. The problem is I think it's £15,000 for winning the entire event. But then again, you've got to 1.25 for winning the first round. But you've also got to. They might if let's say Bielchecki wins a Pro Tour, but Damon Heta is his opponent in the final, like that doesn't really do much damage. Now it might do. So I've almost got to the point where like Gurney's probably going to be there, and we might see one of Menzies and Heta miss out for something else, but probably not both. Even though you would say, well, it's probably more likely to be Heta because he's
Well, who's more
further
likely
down.
to come in? Who do you think would come in for those? For them?
probably Hybrex and Bielchecki, to be honest, because Kim Hybrex has had a great first few months as well.
Wasn't great
If
on
there
the
was
weekend,
going to
though.
be change, but I don't think there will be. I think that the 32 we've got is the 32 we'll get. And plenty of big names not there. Dedeco won't be there. Wright won't be there. Van Barneveld. Michael Smith dropped out of the top 32 for the first time since 2013 as well during the week.
Dimitri Vandenberg.
No Vandenberg. So plenty of, stalwart names. So many players who played in like the 2021 Premier League aren't even there. I mean, Jose Lascelles made the final of that. He doesn't even have a tour card anymore. So things have changed very quickly, and a lot of big names that we just assumed were going to be at the match play. Oh yeah, for pretty much as long as they were still active. Nope, no, they're not there, and they're not particularly close either.
Do you think Michael Smith will come back?
I've always been a bit more hesitant on Michael Smith, to be honest.
His injuries seem to be.
His injuries have been a problem ever since he won that world championship with Unicorn, and then he switched to Shot, and then he just hasn't been the same player since.
Blame the sponsor.
Yeah, blame the darts player. Just ever since he's made that move. I'm not overly confident on seeing the best. I would love to be wrong, and look, we might see bits and pieces. We saw him play well at the Slam last year. He made the final, which Beaugraves won on the Pro Tour, and was. If she misses that double 11, then he probably wins that tournament anyway. So one of the great finishes of all time, that 1-4-2. But I'm not that confident we'll see Michael Smith. Maybe he'll jump back into the top 32 for a little while, but top 16, top 24. I'm just not seeing it at the moment for Michael Smith, unfortunately, as great of a player as well been. But he is forever a Grand Slam and world champion, so you can't take that away from him. He was the winner of the greatest leg in the history of the sport as well. So that is something he can always talk about. Oh, jeez. Right. Women's Series. This was a big block. I actually was watching a bit of this. There was a lot of really interesting stuff happening here.
He's been elevated for this year as well, which is great. So £15,000 for each. There's
For each event, 2,500 to the winner.
10K, which is great. So Beaugraves, no surprise, she won the first 2 events. She had some really good matches. The first one actually, she had a game that was over 100. I think that was maybe in the second game. Vicky Pruitt made a run there as well. Yeah, there you go. 100. In the
100.2 in that semi-final against De Graaf.
That's top stuff that we're used to.
Yeah.
So,
100. It's 100.20 exactly, which is
yes.
that's a 15 darter. So she's won that game in 75 darts. So that's
That's right. Good math.
thank you. But she can't win them all.
Well,
So, yeah, Lisa Ashton picking up a win there. And then we had a proper weird... Oh, this is not a bracket I was expecting for the last... for event 16. But well done, Eleanor Cairns, for winning
Fallon
for
Sherrock, right?
events
no,
16.
Fallon didn't
Yeah.
make a final in that other event, so she played some decent stuff, but not enough in the
Yeah,
end.
she was the first one, wasn't she? I actually...
First or second,
Oh.
I think it was the second event.
A second. Oh, did she?
Third, actually, maybe third.
No, she didn't make a final.
Oh, sorry,
Where was she?
no, trying to semi.
Yes, because... Where was she? There we go. So quarterfinal there. Not there. Semi-final. Yeah, semi-final there of the 15th event.
No, round
Well, we were-
degrees there.
Yeah, I remember that. But we're getting we're getting a bit confused there. Sorry. Anyway, but the point is that was all in the build-up to the women's world match play being set. The top 8.
Now,
So we've reached the cutoff. So the 8 we're going to get, and there's the bracket.
in the seats.
Bo Greaves will play Chrissy Venikainen in the first round. Did they play each other at last year's or at a previous women's world match play in the quarterfinal? Probably.
Similar enough.
Gemma Hayter is playing Vicky Prum, so the Swede is there. Lisa Ashton is going to play Rhiannon O'Sullivan, and then Fallon Sherrock plays Dieter Hedmond. So that will be the last of the quarterfinals. So it's a good field, and you look at the players who aren't there. Trina Gulliver is obviously the big one, multi-time women's world champion, of course, in the BDO. I'm pretty sure we've asked this question before of you, Josh, on the podcast, maybe at last year's Women's World Match Play, and I might ask it again. Do we see a future where we get a 16-player Women's World Match Play at some point? Maybe over a couple of days?
Yeah, because it seems to be shorter every year. So I hope so, because the standard is good enough.
The standard is getting better.
Like, you look at those 4 players, obviously Trina's the main one, but they're
Clark,
doing some good
Kirkwood, and Gofford.
Stuff.
Um,
Yep, good stuff. So I hope so.
yeah, I think it would be good. Yeah.
Because obviously they got more prize money this year, which is fantastic, but even more of a playing field would be even
Yeah.
better.
And you can also make, these are races to what?
9 and North
5 and 6. Yeah, it's best of 9. So a race to 5 in the quarters and semis and 6 in the final. And you can really lengthen it and make it a bit closer to something like a World Series event over a couple of days, the Saturday and Sunday in the afternoons. It gives you a bit more opportunities for people to go to the darts at Blackpool. Yep. We know we've said this a lot of times about tickets and trying to get to the darts at the moment. And the Winter Gardens is such a iconic place for the sport, and they really don't want to move it from that venue and from that city. But the problem is there's just so much demand for it. And yeah, so that would be a way to get some more people in. But as it is, it's an 8-player one-day tournament at the moment. And on the women's series, Mary Boger is obviously a long way in front. Alicia Ashton, Fallon Sherrock, and Vicky is now in position to appear at the World Darts Championship at the end of the year as well. So great stuff there. Now I've got a couple of Stephen Bunting stories for you, if you won't mind me divulging a few of those. First of all, Bunting played his 100th match on the European Tour, so well done for him. It does actually remind you just how long he's been in the sport. He's had gone to so many different places. He's played in so many different environments. He would have played so many matches. It's almost as if he could almost sit down and write a book about it,
When
right?
did you debut? What year was it again?
2014 was his first year as a tour card holder in the PDC. Having won the Lakeside World Championship. But so much stories in there, he could almost write a book about it. Well, good news, because Stephen Bunting has written an autobiography. Bulletproof from Pub to Palace, My Life in Darts is coming out in September. Available to... I will be trying to find some sort of way to get a hand on it. It would be nice. I would want it in a paperback sort of hard form. That's how I am.
How much would you be willing to pay for it?
Whatever reasonable price is available for it.
Reasonable in 2046.
Well,
This economy.
yeah, well, it's a Stephen Bunting book, so it's probably a little bit higher than some other any other books.
Then Tom Sykes.
Yeah, exactly.
Triple 20,
Than a Josh Rock
double
book.
20.
But no, that's available to pre-order. Either in a physical format or as an ebook or an audiobook. So that'll be interesting. I think he's got who was it? Humphreys, Barry Hearn, and someone else I think was writing the forward to the book.
Oh, okay, cool.
I saw that there was someone else. I can't remember who it is now. It was definitely Barry Hearn, Luke Humphreys, and somebody else. So they've all contributed as well. So it's a fascinating. It'll be a fascinating read, I'm sure, because again, he's been around for so long. I'm sure he's got some great stories going from just starting out playing darts to winning the BDO World Championship to obviously playing in the Premier League stage as well, multiple times in the PDC. So he's a great character, an important player, obviously, at the moment, as a top 10 player and a Premier League player. And Stephen Bunting, Bulletproof from About to Palace, My Life in Darts. So able to pre-order now. This is really turning into an ad. Hashtag ad, we're going to have to put in the description. Not sponsored at all. Stephen Bunting doesn't know we're here. Though, Stephen, if you are listening, and when you come to Australia, if you would like to join us in the studio or online, we'd be very happy to have you. Alex Small
Yes,
won Modus week 8.
Yeah, sounds fun. Even though he had 3 maxis, wasn't enough. 50% on the doubles for Alex, so that's what got it done in the end, I think. So, 8th name into this installment of Champions Week. What a stack line we've got here? We've got Big Boris.
Oh, yes. Oh, this is... Oh, wow.
Fallon Sherrick as well. Jack Drayton, who won a couple series ago. Jack Tweddle, the ADC Global Championship winner. He'll be there as well.
Jeez, this is good.
Connor Heenahan, he's played some good stuff, as we know.
Yes, he loves that room.
He's hit a couple of $9 on the same thing. 2, maybe, I think.
I think it's more than 2.
Won the what's it called? The Modus World Cup of
Pairs. It's the international pairs.
Thank you. Yeah, with John O'Shea.
Yes,
So,
for Ireland.
Stacked lineup. Absolutely.
Stacked lineup. I was just the other night. I was looking at a match that Joe Myrna won on the World Championship stage because he hit the winning. He beat Andy Hamilton, but it went to a tie break. It was 4-4. He hit the winning double to go 5-4, and he went like this, and he went to shake his hand, and Ross Bray, who was the referee, had to be like, "No, you haven't won. It's 2 clear legs, Joe. 2 clear legs." So that was one of the more amusing moments in darts history. But Joe Murnham's there at Modus.
Yeah, no real surprise. Jack Tweddle has one Group A 11-4 record. He's playing for standing stuff, and he'd be odds on, you'd think, to win the week. And there's the weekly winners.
We've got Huntley, Duff, Coates, Self, Coleman, Evans, Coulson, and Small. This is week 9, yes?
Yes, week 9.
Week 9, yeah. So that's an up-to-date thing.
Yeah.
I always got to check with these ones if these are up to date. Right, so we've got
DDU.
Darts Down Under talk, which... so can I just say, there's a few things I want to mention here. One, Josh has changed his profile image on all his social medias to be an AI-generated image of Carlton Blues coach Josh Fraser with a Premiership Cup, because his team, which were going absolutely useless, have now won 5 games in a row. A few of them have been...
In a couple of days, actually.
Yeah, well, it's 5 right now as we record, and I'm going to clip that off if they lose, but they shouldn't be losing the next couple of matches, though, to be fair, Carlton.
Until they run to the Hawks.
Yeah. Yeah, when they play the Hawks, I'm going to be really interested to see how Carlton go. But 43.43 average. I've averaged better than that at times. 10% on doubles. You really weren't channeling this new Carlton spirit, were you?
No, well, the main story was...
Post-boss Carlton
He
spirit.
played some very good stuff early on. So he was averaging, I reckon, 65 for the first 4 or 5 legs. But then there was an encounter where we had 2-2, 1-1. You can see how it goes miss.
That was the 35 data?
Yeah, that was that. And I won. So he should have averaged for the whole around 60.
19 darts is pretty good.
Yeah, he had some really good stuff. So, and then again, I started off alright, but my
2 out of 20 and 6 for 54. That's not easy to sit through.
He was way too good in the end.
Right, in the week ahead, we've got a bit going on. US Darts Masters from the Theatre at Madison Square Garden. Luke Littler is obviously the number 1 seed. You can go. We won't read all this out because we do need to wrap it up pretty soon. But it should be an interesting week. A lot of good players at North America who aren't at this event, so that tells you the quality. Stephen
Matty
Bunting on
Campbell.
last in a session as usual. No guys like Matt Campbell or Stowe Bunce. They didn't qualify, so. Good to see Gary Mawson, the former UK Open.
Cool matchups that could be...
Which are the ones that... Humphreys Gates could be interesting because who knows what Adam Gates...
Savada played well in the World Cup.
Savada was good at the World Cup. I really like him. So he and James Wade could be
Spellman's
good.
pretty good too.
Jim Long could be interesting against Josh Rock.
How about Gary Mawson?
Yes, well, it'd be great to see him, the former UK Open finalist from all those years ago. He's playing Johnny Clayton. It would be
What year was it?
2000 and... 9-7. I can't remember now. We were just looking at it before we started. I can't remember. He lost to James Way. That's all I remember. How funny would it be if they met in a final here at Madison Square Gardens? That would be simply amazing stuff. But I think Savada's a chance, and I think Spellman Bunting should be a good match as well. So that's the US Darts Masters. On the second day of the event, the North American Championship is playing as well. So a spot in the Worlds for those players. Jim Long plays Braden Hall, Leonard Gates, Fred Kruger, Adam Savada, Alex Spellman, David Cameron plays Gary Mawson. The ADA comes to Melbourne. Josh and I probably won't be there. We've got other things to do. I'm doing a few other things. So it won't be there at Melton, but I will be watching as much as I can, and we'll be closely following it. Shout out as well to, and I learned this last week, and I was speaking to the Get On Black Book guys about this. Zach Spain, if he's listening, the darting jockey, had no idea that this two-time Group 1 winning jockey was not only a darts player, but listened to our podcast and very good. So Zach Spain at least is registered at the moment. So if you're listening, Zach, best of luck to you. I'll be following you over the weekend.
Made some coin over the last couple of events, so best of luck.
Yeah, no, he's not playing too badly.
Couple legs off Raymond Smith.
Mention that, you beat me to it. Well done.
Yes, so best of luck to the darting jockey. And as a reminder,
A little preview of the weekend. The ADA, the fourth event of their new and improves.
yes.
year.
So Brody Kling's on top and Raymond Smith, they're battling for first place. You feel it's going to be between them. Penhall and Bailey are in the top four, but Pusey just outside. And remember, we're looking for the top four getting a spot in the ANZ Premier League. Of course, the Trans-Tasmanian Championship as well at the end of August before that last ADA event could throw some cat among the pigeons in terms of trying to keep track of who's going to qualify and who's not. But also first place going straight to a World Championship spot as well is also important. This week's Darts Archive, Rob Cross and Gary Anderson from the 2018 US Darts Masters final in Vegas. I was trying to find footage from the old Las Vegas Desert Classic from the 2000s, but there's almost no footage of any match from any event. It's all like little bits. I was trying very, very hard, Josh, but I couldn't find anything. I might have to... Yeah, I know. It's a good time because Rob Cross is in form, and it's always good to watch Gary Anderson. So this back in 2018, Cross flies out of the gates, but Anderson starts to pick the game back. We're available as an audio only, as many people will know. We're available on the socials as well. Episode number 2 of my 3-parter, The Number One Line Still Roaring, premieres tonight. So watch parts 1 and 2 if you haven't already. Part 3 will come out by the end of the month. While I won't be at Melton, I will be at Vision Australia Radio for the Vision Sports Show, 10:30 to 11:30 on Vision Australia Radio. We're going back to a 90-minute show as well, starting next week in July. And you can listen to us on the digital radio now because they're no longer on the AM frequency.
We'll be uploading at 5 p.m. on YouTube and 7 p.m. or there shortly after on Spotify. Shane, thanks for coming on again.
Thanks for having me again.
Great debut and welcome back.
Good fun to be here.
Yes, thank you so much, Shane. And again, if anyone else wants to come in, just let us know and we'll try and organise it.
Some knowledge about it.
Yes, as long as you have, as you know, as you're somewhat...
You've got some good knowledge.
Yes, as long as you're somewhat understandable and capable, you're more than welcome to come in. Thank you very much for listening. A bit of a shorter episode this week. And next week, US Darts Masters will be behind us and we'll be all focusing on that world match play. It's just getting closer and closer, and what a tournament it's going to be.
Yeah, pretty much.
We're less than a month now, so it's going to be great. This has been the 9 Dart Podcast.